Hey, this is RJ May, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, so what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm bringing you this commentary because I actually did cover a commentary close to this earlier this year. However, this is just a different type of perspective I want to take on it, which is, it's kind of the same thing, but I'm also wanting to talk about it because it is not a coincidence I'm dropping this today. I'm actually filming this commentary earlier, but I'm going to be dropping it the day Master Chief Collection comes out. And with that, what am I talking about? Well, I'm going to be talking about when is it okay or when is it allowed to do an HD remake or a remake or remaster, whatever it is. Now, the last time I covered this topic, I was saying and I was asking, are HD remakes going too far? And I believe they have, to some perspective. And I really got this idea this weekend when I was talking with one of my friends, Charlie, or CBX0, some of you might know him as. And what ended up happening is we were talking and I was saying, I was kind of joking around. I was just like, well, yeah, I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but one of the games I'm really looking forward to is going to be just a giant HD remake, and it's the Halo Master Chief Collection. And then he was saying, well, you enjoyed those games, and it's been a while, and it's a good collection, so why are you ashamed of that? And I was like, oh, well, okay, you know what? Well, first off, I was joking, but second, I should have clarified my stance. The reason why I was joking around with that is due to the fact that I don't agree with the HD remakes that are coming out a year or like a little less than a year after a game has been released one time. Now, games like the Master Chief Collection, for example, or the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 HD collections, I'm okay with those for a multitude of different reasons. And he agreed with me on that sentiment. Now, this is what I'm talking about with this. What constitutes as a good remake and a bad remake, and what is really appropriate for one? Now, first off, why are you going to do a remake? Well, it's easy sales, honestly. I mean, most of the time, recoding a game, or, porting it over, upgrading it, is going to be a hell of a lot easier than just building a whole new game. Although, if you have looked at coding games before, I'm saying sometimes. Because let's take an N64 game, for example. Coding on an N64 and having a game running on there is about, I don't know, it's running on rainbows and hopes and dreams. What I'm trying to say is the N64 is really, really hard to code for. So you can't take a game like, even for example, the Legend of Zelda games. You can't take those games and just say, oh yeah, just throw it to a studio in 3 months, they'll have a perfectly working port on another system. No, actually a game that just got announced recently, which people have been waiting for, was Majora's Mask. They're going to be doing the remake treatment with that on the 3DS, and they said that they started developing that remake right after they finished the remake of Ocarina of Time, which if you've played it is a very good remake. But they have been doing that remake since 2011. That's been 3 years. They could have been working on an entirely new game, but no. They are pulling out code from the N64 version of that game and redoing it on the 3DS. So it's not as easy as just hitting an HD 60 frames a second 1080p button and bam, you have a new game. No. There is work behind it. I'm not going to be ignorant about it. I understand that. However, some of the bad remakes, the remakes that have really, left a bad taste in my mouth, kind of soured my opinion of this are, as I said, the remakes that come out about a year, a little less than a year after a game has come out for the first time. One big example of this is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Now, in case you don't know, Tomb Raider came out, I'm trying to think, because I was playing Definitive Edition on my PS4. So the original Tomb Raider, remake, the reboot of Tomb Raider 2013. It came out in 2013, okay? Then they announced the Definitive Edition. It was going to be 1080p, 60 frames a second. It was going to have new additions. It was going to have all the DLC. And it came out about a year later. I want to say it came out less than a year later. Less than a year. It came out like 10 or 11 months after the game retailed for the first time. No. That's not how you do it. All right? Now, I did play it. I played it on PS4. I thought it was very good, and I had played it on Xbox 360 prior to that. However, I did just rent it on PS4. And the reason why I bought it, to be honest, well, not bought it, no, excuse me, I rented it. I gameflied it. The reason why I even rented it was due to the fact that there wasn't a damn thing to play on my PS4 at the time. There were no good games out at the beginning of this year. For anybody that invested early in these new next-gen systems, like, they can attest to that. Right when the systems came out, the Xbox One, the PS4, the Wii U, for quite a while, there was not a killer app, and we're still even getting to that point. But now, if you go out, like right now, and you buy a new system, there are great games. There is a decent library out on these systems. In my opinion, there's still not any game on any of the systems that is like a killer app must-have. But there are very good games, so if you do pick up a new system now, you're not going to be completely bored, so long as you either have a GameFly subscription, or you rent from Redbox, or you have a little bit of money in your pocket to buy a few titles. Now, what I'm talking about with other games as well, I'm going to bring up another example here, and this is a bigger example, but this might get some people mad. Last of Us Remastered. Now, the reason why I say that is because people just hold this game to such a high standard. Now, this game, they did a very good job remastering it. Don't get me wrong. They did an excellent job, and I played this one as well, too. I played it on PS4. Didn't get that far in it because, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of The Last of Us. I'm not. I finished it on PS3. I played the multiplayer. I have my own opinions on it. But it runs locked, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Very good game. You really feel the difference on there. They did an excellent job remastering it. However, even though they added in all the DLC and everything, the game came out about a year after. Now, you had a lot of people defending this. And a lot of people said, oh, well, first off, the game came out near the end of the PS3's life cycle, right before the PS4 came out. You also had a lot of people go from 360 to PS4. So a lot of people cannot go backwards and play The Last of Us, because as you know, they don't want to pick up a PS3, and the PlayStation 4 does not have backwards compatibility. So this gives them an opportunity to play it. Now, yes, that is true. I can see that. But you can also say the same for Tomb Raider. Now, yes, Tomb Raider did come out on a multitude of different platforms. However, I also know many people that either skipped a generation or they picked up the new generation of systems and they did not play Tomb Raider 2013. So this gave them an opportunity to do it. Now, that is one thing I can't say anything bad about with HD remakes, because now I'm going to talk about some of the ones I like. Now, there are several games, for example, the Jak and Daxter collection. I remember this was last generation when Sony was just hammering us with HD remakes here and there. They were just going crazy with them. Jak and Daxter collection, I've played it. Okay, on Vita, it's terrible. But I'm just throwing that out there. On Vita, it's stuttery. It's very annoying to play. But on PS3, it's smooth. It's beautiful. It's really nice. It's fluid. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my younger brothers did not play the Jak and Daxter series until I got the collection on PS3 and fired it up for them, and they loved it. That is an audience right there that they missed out on the original releases and the original titles. Sly Cooper collection, that's another example. I fired that up for them on PS3. They absolutely loved it. And they weren't around for the Sly Cooper games when they came out. They missed that collection as well, too. So the HD collection, that brought in new audiences, new generations. Now, even Halo, for example, I'm going to talk about Master Chief Collection. I don't have any footage of it because, as I said, I'm filming this early. But with the Master Chief Collection, first off, they're doing a great job with it. They're completely remastering all the multiplayers, and they're bringing back the stock multiplayers. They're bringing back Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4 multiplayers. They're bringing back all 4 of those games. They're going to be adding a ton of new features in. There's going to be great support. And I had thought about this too. What I just touched up on was the audience gap. Now, I myself, I've played all the Halo games multiple times. I was around. I lived through the Halo games. Now, the first Halo came out when I was 8 years old, but think about it like this, okay? And I'm going to make some people feel old. Think about it like this. Let's say an average teenager who's watching my videos, right? So let's say you're 15 years old. I think that's fair. I know there's a decent amount of 15-year-olds that watch my videos. Now, the first Halo Combat Evolved, which is one of my all-time favorite shooters, came out in 2001. That was 13 years ago. That means the 15-year-old watching this video right now who probably has an Xbox One, or they might be getting one because of this collection, they missed out on the launch of that game. They were 2 years old when that game came out. And then when Halo 2 came out a few years later, 3 years later, they were 5 years old. So more than likely, they missed out on the heyday and the original Xbox Live days of that. I myself actually missed out on the original Xbox Live days because I didn't have Xbox Live until 2007 when I got my 360. And even then, I was more focused on playing 360 games instead of original Xbox games. But you all know what I mean. Halo has been around for a decent amount of time. As much as we like to think of it as a new series, no. The first Halo game came out in 2001. That is a 13-year-old series now, so I think it's deserving of an HD remake. And even when they did the HD collection, or the HD anniversary remake on the Xbox 360 of the first Halo, they did a fantastic job. Now, in case you don't know, the way they did it was, they did it the same way. They had the first engine, they had the original game lying underneath. They didn't touch anything. They didn't even fix any of the glitches, which is what I loved. But they kept that game intact, and they had the new Halo Reach engine running on top of it. Now, this is cool in novelty perspective. However, I will say this. If it gets in the way of performance, like how it's doing with Halo 2 right now, I don't agree with it that much. And the reason why I'm saying that is, think about it, okay? If you are wanting to get Master Chief Collection, you have it on your nice shiny Xbox One, right? And you pop in your game and you fire up Halo 2. Now, the first time you play through it, you're probably going to switch back and forth just to see, how big of a difference it is from 2004 graphics to 2014 graphics. But those are two games running at the same time. Those are two different engines running on top of one another. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it was actually announced that the Halo 2 campaign is not going to be running at full 1080p because it is running those two engines. Now, I don't want to get into a whole resolution war right here, but just think about it, okay? You're playing the game. You're probably going to switch back and forth a few times, just for novelty's sake. But do you want to play the entire game with 2004's graphics? After you play the game for like an hour or two, are you really going to care about those old graphics? No, more than likely not. You're probably just going to play the game in the new 2014 setting with the nice, new, shiny, polished graphics. If I wanted to see the original setup, I would play it on my PC. Or I would fire up my 360 and play my copy of Halo 2 on my 360 and play it that way. I'm not going to get the game when the game comes out on Tuesday, which would be today. I'm not going to pop it in and play the entirety of Halo 1, 2, and 3 with their original graphical settings. No. More than likely, Halo 3 is not going to have it, but Halo 1 and 2, they're going to have the dual engine setup, I believe. I'm not going to play the game with those original graphical settings is what I'm going to say. Just give me the nice shiny versions and I will be okay. Now that is just my whole little rant on there. But that is an HD collection that's done right. And another one that my friend Charlie and I were talking about was the Kingdom Hearts remakes. Now, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD is my pinnacle of an HD remake. Like, that sets the bar, and that is just like the cream of the crop right there of HD remakes. And let me explain this, okay? So, first off, I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. I want to say that. I love the series. It holds a special place in my gamer heart. Now, I love Kingdom Hearts, and when I heard they were going to be making an HD remake, I was just like, you know what? I gotta get it. And they said they were going to sell it for a discounted price. They were going to sell it for $40. I said, you know what? I don't mind paying $40 for it, sure. Especially since the HD remake, I believe it came out in 2013. And Kingdom Hearts came out in 2005, I want to say. So it came out, about a decade later. I don't mind that. Or no, the original Kingdom Hearts, no. That was Kingdom Hearts 2 that came out in 2005. The first Kingdom Hearts came out in 2003, I want to say. So it was a 10-year remake, I want to say. It should have been 10 years. Anyways, dates aside and all that, what I'm trying to say here is, they said they were going to remake the first Kingdom Hearts. I said, cool. Now, this was the big thing with it. This was not just regular Kingdom Hearts. This was Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. Now, if you don't know anything about Squaresoft and Square Enix and what they did with their international, well, not international versions, their final mix versions, pretty much this is what happened. Kingdom Hearts originally came out in Japan. Then it got released stateside. When it came over to the US and the UK, they added in even more features. They changed the combat a little bit. They put in new bosses. They put in new storyline scenarios. And then they also put in the secret ending. That was just, it wasn't deep dive. It was another side, another story. Then what happened was they made a whole new secret ending, which was deep dive. And they put in even more scenarios. And they put in even more bosses and some more additions that are quite important to the story if you follow the Kingdom Hearts lore. Now, they put those in and re-released it in Japan as Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. And they gave it, like, just look it up. They gave it a super dope looking cover and everything. And I'm such a big Kingdom Hearts fan, I actually own a copy, a legitimate Japanese copy of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. I got it, like, when I first started college, because I was doing, it was kind of a reward to myself. I'd started college, I was making a little more money, and it was something I always wanted, so I picked it up. Anyways, that aside, I ended up getting that, and this is the thing, with those Final Mix games, they stay in Japanese, and they stay in Japan. So that is stuff that is locked in Japan, and we can't access it unless we translate it over on our side. Now, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix got an unofficial translation, but Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix never got a translation from what I know, and even so, those were fan translations. Now, here is the big thing with all of that. This was the first time in history that a Final Mix game was going to leave Japan, that it was going to be localized in anything outside of Japan, in anything that was not Japanese. So this was a pretty damn big deal for Square Enix and for fans of the series. So I said, wait, so you're telling me they're going to bring over Final Mix in full HD for the first time, any type of Final Mix game, and this is the game I've been dreaming of playing since I was a kid, the director's cut of Kingdom Hearts essentially, and it's going to be the official translation. Yes, I will pay $40 for that alone. Then they said that on top of that, they were also going to put in Kingdom Hearts 358 and a half days, which was a DS game that was released, but it wasn't the actual game. They went in and they remastered all the cutscenes, so it was going to play out like a multi-chaptered movie, but then they redid the cutscenes from the ground up, I believe, or at least they retouched them a hella good amount, from the DS version, but they even redid the audio. They had the voice actors come in and redo the English audio. That was crazy to me, and that was a game that I'd always wanted the story out of, but I didn't really want to play, so I said, you know what? That's a great deal right there. And then they also included in Chain of Memories, which Chain of Memories was originally released on PS2, which was a upgraded version of Chain of Memories that was released on Game Boy Advance, which I didn't really want to play that much. But I said, you know what? That's awesome. That covers the story arcs between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And they're going to be remastering that as well. So you're telling me I'm going to be getting a game that's never been released outside of Japan, another game being completely remastered, and another game being shown to me in cinematic form, completely remastered. And it's being sold at $40. Yes, I'm sold. And finally, they did one more thing. They said, if you pre-ordered the game, we are upgrading you for free to the limited edition, which has an art booklet and all this other stuff, and also Tetsuya Nomura put in like a special note to the fans, which I have an unboxing of it on here somewhere, but that was just fantastic. That to me, like, you can probably hear how excited I am about it. That to me is just the pinnacle of HD remakes right there, of a remake, of a re-release. Like, that is how that stuff is supposed to be handled. And I have to say, with Master Chief Collection, it seems like so far, 343 is pretty much giving it the Kingdom Hearts treatment, which is what I'm really liking with that series. So when it's something like that, that's fine. Now, in short, I knew this commentary was going to be long. I am okay with an HD remake, with a re-release, if it's sold at a discounted price, if it's rationalized, if there's enough time between it. But if it's a game where all they're doing is just upgrading it, throwing in a little bit of DLC, and it's been like a year since it's been released, I don't agree with that as much. Now, the only game that's coming out like that, which I have to be honest, I mean, everyone's going to be biased, and I can say I'm unbiased, but I probably hold a little bit of bias for this because I do like the game, is Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, that is going to be coming out, a year and a half? About a year? Well, for current-gen systems, it's coming out a year after the initial release. For PC, it's going to be coming out about a year and a half after the initial release, which I plan on picking it up on PC. I'm probably not going to get it on a console, because I've already played it a lot on 360. I'm good with that. I'll play it on PC, because it will be the best on there. Now, here's the thing with that. I'm kind of okay with that, I guess, and the reason being is that, yes, it's been a year, and they're doing an HD remake of it, but if you've looked at what they're doing, they are adding in so many features. They are completely reworking many parts of the game, adding in new stuff everywhere. And also the main thing is, you have to realize this. They are bringing the game to PC. Now, this was a given. They were more than likely going to bring it to PC. And while it sucks that the PC version is coming out, 4 or 5 months after the console version is coming out, the PC version is being ported over, and it's being redone on there, but it's going to be an x86 architecture. At least I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Now, what do these new consoles run? The Xbox One, the PS4. They're running on x86 architecture. Now, if they're porting over a game from PS3 and 360 over to the PC, wouldn't it be a good idea if they said, hey, you know what? We could make even more money if we took the game that we have already rebuilt and just kind of threw it on these new consoles. Now, I'm saying that they're going to do a good job with it, but I'm saying, they're going to do that, and since they've already, taken it over to that new x86 architecture, and these new systems are what? x86, it's pretty viable for them. It's a very good option. The new people that want to play Grand Theft Auto 5 again, that might have missed out on Grand Theft Auto 5, they get to play it, and then the PC people get to play it. Now, I don't know. I'm still iffy about, the 1 year thing, but I've seen the features and it excites me, and just the PC version, I'm probably more biased about it just because I'm going to be getting it on PC. I think that's okay. But for it just to be re-released on consoles, that still might be kind of iffy. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. And by the way, for the footage on this, what I'm going to be setting this commentary to, it's Sunset Overdrive. In case you've been paying attention, this game is crazy. This game is fun. I love the game so far. I'm so entertained by it. Just the acting, the dialogue, the gameplay, everything is just gripping me in so far. I'm saying this because a lot of people with the video that I just made a few days ago, they were asking, how Sunset Overdrive, it has the Mario seal of approval so far. I'm enjoying it. For how much I paid $40 for it. I'm enjoying it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think of all these HD remakes and all that, because let's hope this generation's not just going to be remakes. Anyways, signing off for real this time. Later, everyone.